There you go. Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Susie.
Nice
Sean,
backdrop too, Sean. Looks
Oh,
good on you.
I've got lots of them.
All
Yeah,
right,
here,
I'm
you want
excited
me to
learn
change
from you
up? I'll
guys.
change up my, here we go. We go with that one.
Even better.
We go this one. I think this one's actually my favorite because I can kind of sit off to the side and still see it.
Big boardroom, Mr. Executive in the house. So let's get the show started. This is Legends. And with me today, I have something very special. Boom. We have Mr. Sean Patrick Murphy in the house on Zoom.
How you doing, Kevin?
Oh, Sean, this is such a pleasure, such a pleasure. And this is groundbreaking for me. I started Legends last year. We're into our 60th episode. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. A few things happened that I kind of stalled a little bit in my life. I started a new job and so forth, and so I didn't have time to kind of pay attention. But now that I'm back on track and I'm at eXp, baby, I can focus on Kevin Du Toit and what he wants to accomplish in this world. But anyway, this is all about you, Sean. The nice thing about today, why it's groundbreaking, is we're actually starting to get an audience. So when I posted that I was actually interviewing you, Sean, agents asked if they could participate.
I love it.
Yeah, so we have with us an eXp agent, Susie Areola. Hi, Susie.
Hey, Susie.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited. I just am so excited that Sean has new letters behind his name.
Well, let's get this started, Sean. I mean, I know who you are. How I know Sean is being in leadership. Sean ran one of the most incredible market centers in Southern California, a brokerage. We all knew who he was. We all knew what he was doing. And then all of a sudden, Sean went quiet. And Sean, we actually know, I don't know if you know this, but let me share some secrets with you, Sean. We actually knew when you went quiet.
Yep.
So when you went quiet, like, where's Sean? What's Sean doing? So it's very interesting. And then a couple of weeks later, the announcement. So, I mean, let's get into that. You're now the new Vice President of Growth at eXp.
Correct.
Absolutely. And what exactly does the VP of Growth to the agent community of eXp really mean or this accomplish, Sean?
Well, one-on-one, Kevin Du Toit can recruit just about anybody on the planet. Where it gets a little more complex is when you have large teams that are transitioning from existing brokerages or brokerages themselves that are transitioning over. They usually have special accommodations that need to be made. They have transactions they need to close out with their former brokerage. They may need to send an advanced party or an interim team leader over for their company, which now eXp does. You can designate on your letter of intent an interim team leader. Welcome to eXp. We can start writing deals under your new team, and you can finish out your business at your last brokerage. Because the reality is, many of the small brokerages and those mega teams, they're very proprietary, and when you leave, they change the rules on you unexpectedly. Oh, you're going to get lesser of split, or we're going to charge you this, or we're going to charge you for the whole next year. Things pop up in your team or brokerage agreement that weren't formerly there. So what we like to do is we work out a way so that they can close out their business at their former brokerage. When they're coming over, the first thing that anybody says that has a team of any size like yours is, this is what I made in the last 12 months. How much would I have made if I were at eXp? So we have a special finance expert named Ashley Galladay. And
Ashley, okay, very nice. And actually, well, yeah. Yes, excellent.
She was also an administrator with my former company for several market centers. She was also worked with MAPS coaching and everything. So she sits down with you and does a profit and loss. She does the pro forma for the last year where you were, and does a pro forma for this year. She also has very accurate rev share calculations, and she does it all right there in front of you and comes back with a number. Most teams that get that number go, what have I been doing for the last few years? I mean, it's simple. You know, our model is geared towards generational wealth for the agent. Other models are geared towards profitability for the company. And they'll say, no, we're for the agent. And I went, the end of an income statement, most companies says owner profit. It doesn't say agent profit.
Right, what nonsense, Sean. We know that. We've been there, Sean. That's just nonsense. We know who gets all the profit at the end of the day.
Yep. And you know, I feel for the owners at other companies when the owner profit's not what was expected or what it used to be, because things are changing. The virtual world, since 2020 came, I imagine most CEOs of larger corporations imagine it would take 5 to 10 years to transition people away from a brick and mortar operation. And it happened in 6 months. But Glenn Sanford, and, you know, and Jason Guessing, they were ahead of the game. They already knew. They said, this is where everyone's trying to go. When you're building a nationwide AI platform, that's not so people can work from the office. When you're telling people to downsize their office footprint, that's not so people can work from the office. That's because they expect a certain percentage of the agents to transition to a virtual environment. And that's where eXp's always made their money. We're not paying for the big brick and mortar. We're not paying for the huge technology platforms. We're definitely not paying for the owner profit because, you know, Glenn gives half of it away. So, so what can I do to help you? And I do need to tell you, if you don't know, my name's Sean Murphy. I live in Southern California. I ran the largest single office in San Diego County and the largest KW office in Southern California. My specialty is I study brokerages. People say, real estate's your hobby? What a geek, but it really is. Real estate's my hobby. If you were to look at my notes that I sit down and I track real estate companies and their adoption rates, their profitability.
Very nice, Sean.
So when somebody says, oh, this real estate company is an up and comer, I go, not really. In Connecticut, they have one agent. So I don't think that qualifies as up and comer. So my job is solely to build your rev share downline, not mine. If anybody can spell eXp, they're not going into my downline. That means I wasn't the one that introduced them to the name, the company, anything. So the growth team at eXp was very wise in their decision to hire regional vice presidents that were not incentivized by rev share. That allows us to focus on everyone else. We're incentivized by growth. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, of
but
course.
we want
This
Kevin
is business. Yeah, exactly.
We want Brent Gove to go, you know, to infinity and beyond. We want Kevin Du Toit to go to infinity and beyond. We want the Flicks to go to infinity and beyond. We want everybody to grow. We know that your relationships are different than their relationships. For instance, you should have all of South Africa in your downline.
I love that, Sean. It does take a unique individual. So Glenn Sanford, he is a unique individual. There is something special about him because not only did he understand and see the future, because most people do know that things are changing. There's going to be a new normal after all of this kind of comes to an end, or maybe just a transitional into a new normal. But really, Sean, his execution is what really set the standard. It wasn't just that he had the idea of this cloud-based company like most companies, the Ubers and the Airbnbs of the world, and Netflix. It was about the execution. That's just kind of part of the game, right? Part of the strategy. Sean?
Yeah, well, I understand what draws agents. Just like I listened to one of your podcasts that you're driving around in your nice car, and you said you have hundreds and hundreds of hours on how to recruit. And I went, that's the difference. We've been trained for years on how to identify a pain point, to change their mindset, to completely take the focus off of when somebody says, I'm going to eXp. Well, I'm not gonna say anything bad about that company. I'm going to change their mindset 100%. You know, obviously you're experiencing some discomfort in your current business. So let's focus let's see where your business is at right now, because I know that if you're making tons of money, this wouldn't be a conversation. Nobody that makes $1 million a year worries about a little piece of cap. And that you start to attribute their current success to the brand. When you know it's Kevin Du Toit, master of the universe, that makes the transaction happen. It's not the brand. As a matter of fact, the brand is required to be on the sign, but there's no subsequent advertising. You don't see TV commercials about your brand unless they're publicly traded and failing. You know, you always see cruise ship. Every time I see a lot of commercials for a certain type of car, I look at my wife and go, I wonder what kind of recall they're having, because they're doing some brand awareness right now, and nobody spends millions of dollars to make people brand aware of an already successful car. So
right.
you start seeing a lot of commercials for a real estate based company, and you go, oh, they're doing some brand awareness. They're doing some after purchase satisfaction commercials for their agents. Right now, eXp, when you said, you know, what really moved me this way was,
yes,
my last company was based on statistics and numbers, because numbers don't lie. And unfortunately for them, numbers don't lie. So when somebody we know used to draw that adoption curve that used to go up, and this is the adoption curve.
Sure, you're funny, man. You're funny, buddy.
And I sat there one day, and somebody from eXp sent me just an email that said, hooray, we passed 50,000 agents. And I called them up and go, how many did you have last year? We had 25,000 agents last year. I went, you had 100% increase in your agent count in 1 year? And I go, what was it the year before that? And the year before that? So I had to get in touch with somebody who actually knew the numbers. So I saw the adoption curve. I saw that, you know, it's slow. I mean, I was iPhone 7 before I even looked at the darn thing. I had a BlackBerry. I do not take on things easily. I do a lot of research. So I looked at that adoption curve and I went, it's kind of plateaued. And I looked at other real estate brokerages and companies and saw where their adoption curve was, and went, well, based on this trajectory, in 2 years, this should be the largest brand on the planet.
Oh my God.
Unless there's something that happens that gets in the way. Usually what gets in the way is people see success and they emulate and copy it. You know, imitation is the
biggest compliment,
form of flattery. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Well, there are companies that are copying word for word eXp.
We have one locally here in Newport Beach that's doing exactly the same thing.
Because it works.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, Sean. Absolutely.
You know, and companies that were formerly private are now forming holding companies and going public. And you start to look, you know, we used to be at a company, the largest company, and you always looked and said, well, I'm out in front. I'm number one in this race. And one day I woke up, and it was through no fault of theirs and not a lot of prodding from anyone. I just looked up and went, I don't believe I'm in first place. And if I'm still in first place, I can see number 2 climbing up on me so fast, there's no way I can win this race. So the reality was this: through a lot of research of the financial model, the technology model, the organizational model, I made my decision to switch to this company for my family, for generational wealth, and for the ability to be on board with a company that's on a rocket ship right now. It's so exciting when the company is just doubling in agents. I mean, it's incredible.
And Sean, there's like a certain aura of fun. There's this kind of this energy of enthusiasm, excitement. Or is it just me? I have a lot of energy, but am I right, or is it? I mean, I'm on an island, Sean.
You know, when I was talking to the president of Growth, Dave Kennord, and we were going over the values of eXp, I love that one of our values is fun. You have to have fun, and basically said, if you don't have a sense of humor, this is the wrong company for you. and you better know all your gifts and be up on your latest memes. but it's a fun company. The people
Okay.
that I meet with in my local area face to face and at the masterminds are exciting, fun people. There's
Yeah.
no dreary, doesn't
No drama,
exist.
hey, no drama.
There's no drama. I mean, you're running your own business. You're
Mhm,
Kevin Du
correct.
Toit,
In my own office.
Enterprises, eXp recognizes your success, and we support it. And you have people you can come to like myself. But the reality is, all we want to do is support Kevin Du Toit's growth. You know, we appreciate you because you recognize the value and you have the culture, and we love that.